Well, Jason Anderson is confirmed because he's on the phone
Yeah.
right now. Yeah, he's here. He is in fact joining the show, and he's a 49er fan, so we could pose that question to him. Debo, top playmaker in the league.
Who wants some of Debo?
Nobody.
Yeah, man. You know what? If this season had been a little different and the middle of the schedule didn't get they didn't lose some games in there. Like, I don't see why Debo's not an MVP candidate this year. He's legit, man, and he's a big part of that success, and you love to see it.
Absolutely.
How much fun was the weekend for you? Did you have as much fun as Kenny did watching the 49ers beat the Cowboys this weekend?
Probably more.
I was going to say
it was.
You had to work.
Actually, I did not.
Took the day off.
I
took
did.
the day off.
All right there, Jason. That's what I'm talking about.
You want Kings or Rockets, or you want to go watch the Niners beat the Cowboys? I was still plugged in, though. I was still following along from afar, but yeah, definitely had to catch that Niners game.
Well, you wrote this morning about De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, the potential deal, potential conversations with the Sacramento Kings and the Indiana Pacers. And man, Jason, in the Kings world, stuff seems to happen really, really quickly. As Shams in The Athletic reported not too long ago at all, that in fact the Kings are not interested in trading De'Aaron Fox, and they're also not interested in trading Tyrese Halliburton. They're looking to build around those two. What do you make of all of these? What do you make of all of this noise involving the Sacramento Kings right now?
Yeah, I see that's their current mindset.
That's what it says.
Yeah. I think we might as well get all our dysfunction into one day. Might as well just squeeze it all in there. Look, I can only stand by my own reporting and tell you what I've been hearing. I wrote what I've heard. I also saw what Shams reported just within the last hour or so. That they've told Fox's camp that he is not going to be traded. I will say I have a strong suspicion they told him that today.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a strong feeling that they've had the conversation with De'Aaron in recent days, maybe even over the past couple of weeks, that he might hear his name come up. And so, I think that's where we're at. I mean, I think that his name has come up. I know his name has come up. I know that they were interested in Sabonis. I know they're interested in Ben Simmons. You're not going to get one of those deals done without Fox. If you get to the point where you're not going to get either of those deals done, even with Fox, I think it makes perfect sense to, kind of pull back on some of that. But look, I'll just say, what I reported this morning tracks very closely with what we've been hearing from guys like Sam Amick and Chris Haynes and Keith Pompey and even a couple of others who have heard some of the same things that I have. And what we heard from Shams an hour ago doesn't track at all with any of that stuff. And so it seems to me that there's been a change. I know there was a change from the summer when Fox was not even up for discussion. And, it seems to me now that maybe there's been a shift back to the idea of continuing to build around De'Aaron and Tyrese.
So, Jason, in your opinion, has that change happened because they went out there and they saw they're not going to possibly get a Sabonis or a Simmons for either one of those guys, and now they want to get ahead of the story and kind of flip the script and be like, nah, we're committed to them, even though they were already talking? Or, do you think that, they seriously just thought about some things? It was like, nah, we want to keep De'Aaron and Halliburton. How do you think that played out in your opinion?
Well, to be fair, I think either is a possibility. I don't think it's out of the question at all that they were kind of rebuffed on a couple of those deals, those two deals specifically. And then, if that happens, then you end up where we are right now. It's also possible that, look, it's entirely possible that even while they were willing to have a conversation, with De'Aaron's name in it, possibly even Tyrese's name in it, according to some other reports. That doesn't mean that they were set on moving one or the other. It just means that, I think Monty has made it pretty clear to us he's going to try everything to make this team better. And if you're not at least listening, to what people might be willing to give you for guys like Fox and Halliburton, then you're probably not doing everything. So, none of this strikes me as it's really odd. I mean, they should be having these conversations. Nobody should be off the table. This team has lost 15 years in a row. They're not on track to get to the playoffs this year. Much of this core has been in place for a period of 3 to 4 years, and they we haven't seen them take the kind of steps everyone was hoping to see. And so, at this point, I think having everyone on the table and being willing to listen to every conversation is the prudent approach. But that can get uncomfortable at some point if those deals are not going to come to fruition, and you're then going to be continuing to build around the core and the guys that you have.
Do you think Jason Anderson of the Sacramento Bee with us here on D-Lo and KC? Do you think that's likely, or not likely? Do you think that's possible that this chatter is just that, and ultimately, and we say it as a joke, and I think you'll know what I mean by this. Are the Kings marching out Buddy Hield on February 11th? Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley out there to play?
Oh boy! Look, here's so those guys are perpetually on the table. They have been for like a year and a half. Yeah. So I think the only way you get to the point where you're having the De'Aaron and Tyrese conversations is if you're starting to see that the return or continue to see that the return for some of the other players that you are willing to shop is maybe not what you're hoping for. So, I don't know that they even begin to entertain the idea of Fox or Halliburton in a trade if they know they can go get Ben Simmons for a package that includes Buddy and Harrison and Marvin. If you can do that, you just do it, and you don't let anybody talk about De'Aaron and what his future is here. So, are Buddy and Marvin still going to be here? I doubt it. I think that the Kings will be able to find something for them. I think part of the reason it's dragged on so long for them is kind of Monty keeping his assets intact in terms of contracts and players that he can move in a big deal like that. Like if you had parted ways with Buddy and Marvin both 3 months ago, like you just wouldn't have anything to go to the Sixers with and talk about a Ben Simmons deal. The fact that they were willing to put Buddy in that trade to the Lakers was my first indication that they were probably also willing to make a deal involving Harrison, because the Buddy and Harrison money lines up. And even if Buddy's gone to the Lakers and now you have Kuzma and Harrell here, you could just put Harrison into that deal instead of Buddy with Marvin and whatever else it takes. So, I specifically those three guys, I think there's a strong chance that conversations are ongoing and that something could happen with really with all three of them or any of the three.
Jason, in your eyes, in your mind, how long are they going to hold on to this? I think is like a Simmons pipe dream. As far as really going after him, and then kind of waking up and saying, well, that's not going to happen. We still need to make some other moves to get this team better, because I've said, Damian said, a number of different other people have said for weeks now that they need to make changes to this team because this group, this core just isn't going to work. And they've held on so long for this Ben Simmons thing, it seems like, that they've just kind of let this season is, I know it's 10th and I know it's the West where, a bad record may be getting 10th. I really believe they're in danger of falling out of that. with a bad 2 weeks, if they don't do something to kind of wake this team up. How long do you think they hold on to this Sixers thing, man?
I don't know the answer to that. The whole league has kind of held on to the Sixers thing. If you look at it, really, you can't say that anything really has slipped through Sacramento's fingers at this point, because we just, until the last 48 hours, we really hadn't seen any deals done, and now we're starting to see some things happen kind of on the fringes where I think at a certain point this stuff all is going to have to break loose, and people are going to have to move on without without Daryl Morey and the Sixers and Ben Simmons. But look, if you're a GM and you're kind of sitting on that edge, like, wait, maybe we can get him. I don't know. That's a tough call. Monty I don't envy his position right now. He's in a tough spot. Just in terms of, what the Sixers are doing and what they want. And then, kind of a perception, a position of the perception and any sort of desperation that might be here to make a big change and make things better in a hurry. So I don't know how long they wait. I thought this Sabonis stuff might be kind of a sign that they were willing to move on to the next thing. But that apparently they're backing off of that thing as well. So I would say for now, it definitely looks like they are holding out hope that they can reach a deal with Philly. Definitely a lot of questions about whether that's ever going to come to be or not.
And with all that said, you get to cover the Kings and Pistons tonight. So
that's
exciting.
Shorthanded Pistons. Jeremy Grant is out. I think that's new. I don't know that he was in protocols before today, but I had to run off and pick up my pride and joy from school here, so I didn't get a chance to follow up and find out when exactly.
Buddy Hield?
Protocols,
You picked Buddy Hield from school?
No, not Buddy Hield. My son Alex.
Oh, okay. Your other pride and joy. I got you.
My other.
God bless you. I've been trying to figure out how am I going to work the Buddy Hield joke into this conversation, and there it was, right there for me.
Hey, Buddy Hield would work the Buddy Hield joke in every time himself, no matter what, whether it fits or not. So, yeah, all good, guys. I don't know what's going to happen here. I think something's going to happen. I think a little bit of this, though. There has to be a little nervousness that there just are only so many of these big deals out there that at least that we know about. Monty may very well have 2 or 3 or 10 other discussions going on that nobody's really gotten wind of yet. And maybe that ends up being the thing that pushes this team forward. But clearly this is a team that desperately needs to push it forward and to get better. It might be too late for this season already. I don't know. The 10th seed is not really anything to aspire to anyway. I mean, I guess you take it if you can get it, but that doesn't end the playoff drought. It might make everybody feel good for a few days, but they really need to find a way to make this team better and do that in a way that's going to be sustainable. I know that's what they want to do, but these things are easy to talk about and hard to achieve, as we've seen here for a long time.
Yeah. You're doing a great job, man. I know this stuff it's rumor season. It's difficult to make heads or tails of it, but we appreciate you keeping us informed, man. Enjoy the Kings and the Pistons tonight.
I appreciate it. My current mindset is tired, and so hopefully things calm down at some point and we get some clarity and can get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, only 22 more days, buddy. Only 22 more days of this.
A win in Green Bay will re-energize you.
There we go. Let's do this.
Thanks, Jason.
Jay.
All right.